last quadrilateral is called a trapezoid. It is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. Okay. The non-parallel sides are called the legs. And the parallel sides are called the bases. So in our diagram, AB is a base and DC is a base because they are parallel. And the two sides that are not parallel are going to be called the legs, which are AD and BC. Now, each trapezoid has two pairs of base angles because there are two bases. So the two pairs of base angles are AB, and then there's also D and angle C. Now, a specific kind of trapezoid is called an isosceles trapezoid. We've talked about an isosceles triangle before, and an isosceles triangle had two congruent legs. So for a trapezoid, it's actually the same thing. It is a trapezoid with congruent legs. Right? So two properties of an isosceles trapezoid that make it special is that both sets of base angles are congruent. Meaning that you can have two sets of different numbers, but you'll always have two angles that are congruent to each other in an isosceles trapezoid. And also, like the rectangle, it has diagonals that are congruent to each other. Okay, so if I were to label that, I have my legs as congruent. And then I also have my base angles that are congruent by sets. So you can see that two of them are congruent, and the other two are congruent to each other. Finally, drawing out that the diagonals are congruent, I'm going to connect non-consecutive vertices, and these two diagonals are congruent to each other. Alright, a final segment or part of the trapezoid that we will usually talk about is the midsegment. And also, we've talked about a midsegment for a triangle before. So just like before, a midsegment is formed by connecting the midpoints of the legs. Okay? And it is parallel to the bases. So these are the midpoints. You can mark that with these tick marks. And I will connect 2 points, 2 midpoints, to create our midsegment. Now, to find the length of the midsegment, we take the average of the two bases. So it's half of the sum of the two lengths. So it's here. Half of the sum of the lengths of the bases. So let's say I have base 1 and base 2. The midsegment will equal base 1 plus base 2, and we will divide that by 2. So in other words, we are again taking the average of the two bases.